Hello, welcome to Follow Everton. I'm Ryan, the channel admin. Today I have the wonderful John with me to react to Everton's abhorrent, embarrassing, humiliating defeat away at newly promoted Bournemouth, who were playing their second string team. I am so disgusted, but to be honest with you, John, I didn't expect anything less. I don't know whether you caught my pre-match, and I was very critical towards this team selection, and we were punished, weren't we?
Yeah, it's honestly, it's difficult to know what to say. Really, it's abysmal. Honestly, the highlight for me was the full-time whistle and being able to turn the stream off. It was a joke from start to finish. The only positive thing was when we made the subs and we started to bring some of our first team players back in, like Iwobi and Gray. But honestly, I don't know what they're thinking starting a team like that. In previous seasons, we've obviously changed our team purposely because there have been so many weak links. Keane, Decore, these players just aren't fit for first-class football. And if we're playing like that against Bournemouth, who aren't exactly the strongest team in the league, if we came up against any other team, we would have got even more battered than we did today. And we were just embarrassed. We don't deserve to be in a Premier League if we're playing like that. It was slow. It was boring. There was no movement. There was no accuracy. It was just slowed down. Everyone stopped, held the ball, and it was just nothing. It's embarrassing to watch.
Dan, I'm sorry to say that it was everything I told you it would be, and I kind of accepted that it would be like this before the pre-match, maybe as a comfort to myself that I knew to expect nothing less. The reason is, I don't know what's happened to John. Hopefully John comes back in. The reason is, Dan, these are the same players that have let us down before. Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, Tom Davis, Decore, Holgate. What can you honestly say other than you can expect that from them? You know, they couldn't handle the transition and the speed of Bournemouth. And it was like watching a horror show. To be honest, it was like watching last season all over again before we were able to claw ourselves out of it.
Well, first of all, I actually got the scoreline right. Just the wrong way around. Wrong way around. I'm fuming. I am absolutely fuming because fair enough, you can say, I was being confident. I always go into a game wanting to win. Fact. But if you actually looked at my reaction when that lineup come out, I wasn't happy. If you go back and look at my reaction, I was not happy. And the first thing I said is that we need to be playing our best squad. And if we are going to bring in a few new players in, you've got to gel them with your best squad. Too many changes today. And I am going to blame the players and I'm going to blame Lampard because I don't know what Lampard tried to get these to do today, but that was disgusting. It was disgusting. Nothing worked whatsoever. And you don't leave it when nothing works either. I don't know why he brought those subs on when we went 2-0 down. I would have brought them on at half-time because it wasn't working. The three in the back wasn't working right, and we couldn't play it through the middle. We couldn't pass the ball. Nothing was clicking. Lampard just set them up to be absolutely shite. And I tell you something, I know you just said, Ryan, that we seen how bad there was last season. They was worse. This is the worst I've ever seen an Everton team ever. Like, I know Keane and all that have been shit last season, but they was even shitter this season, mate. They was diabolical, all of them.
We're so easy to play against. And I said, you know, what teams are doing to us, they're waiting for us to lose the ball, to be... Oh, who's done that?
Nope.
He's put himself in. Just put it back in.
We'll bring Jeff in a minute. Sorry, guys. Just bear with.
That's done my head in, that has. I'm absolutely pissed off now. Honestly, I'm sorry for the language on the channel, but what else can you say after that?
What I was going to say...
The point of bringing it... Oh, go on.
Sorry. I said in the pre-match on here, we will play 5 at the back and we will have the wing-backs will go forward. They'll try and cover the entire flank themselves. And what will happen is we will leave space in behind the full-backs, the wing-backs, who will go forward, and we will get exposed in that space in behind, and Mina and Holgate will defend 1v1. And what happened? What happened? I wasn't wrong. And I am from no football background. But if I can tell you an hour before the game exactly what's going to happen, the stupid triangles between the two centre-backs and the one midfielder, the brain dead going forward, wing-backs,
Yeah, but Ryan, what makes him think in training that this is going to work? That's Lampard has them in training. They have to do something to make Lampard think they can do this in this game and something good is going to happen. What the heck did they do? Decore, I tried to back Decore up, but I tell you something. Why has someone not said to him to turn around and move the bloody ball forward? Oh my God, it's like he's got a condition where he always has to go back all the bloody time. Stop moving the ball back all the time. If he looks forward, he shits his pants. He absolutely shits his pants. Turns around and passes it to Michael Keane. That's even worse. When Iwobi come on, and Iwobi looked like friggin' Ronaldinho when he come on, because Iwobi come on and just said to Decore, turn a bloody round. Have a look in front of you. Get on the ball. He made Iwobi looked so good when he come on, because we realised what it is to have a player that can actually frigging turn around and look up. Like, I knew some of these players was bad. And like I said, when we first there was in the squad, I said we shouldn't be playing some of these. But my God, they was 20 times worse than they have ever been this season. They was 0 out of 10. 0.
When Decore plays, he always faces towards our own goal, which is why he can never play the ball forward, because he always passes it backwards, and he can't pass forward because he's not looking that way. But as soon as they release the team and it has 11 changes, do you know how ridiculous that sounds? And I know we haven't had the best set of results previously, but the whole point is, when you're playing a cup game, you want to go for it. And I understand either give a few other players a run out or you're resting some players. That doesn't mean change the entire team. The point is, you can't expect a whole new team to gel together like that. None of these players have played together in that way, and none of them have had a good run out. You're supposed to. We're not a team with amazing squad depth. We're not like Liverpool. We're not like City that can play any team they want and they'll still easily and comfortably win. We need to go forward and play our team.
Did you hear all those fans singing, getting behind Everton? Those fans that have travelled away, spent like 50 quid diesel, frigging 30 quid ticket, coughed 100 and plus up in the wages, gone all the way to get behind Everton, singing loud, and they're frigging that shit. They should be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely disgusting, mate. It's fuming that our fans was trying to get behind that pile of shit that Lampard put out. Like, really, really, I feel sorry for our fans. I really do. The club should go and pay for their transport home, because that was disgusting.
I'm just going to, as much as I appreciate and love you both, I've got Jeff sat, he looks utterly fed up, borderline didn't want to come on. I have to be honest with you, John's got a headache, I've got an ear infection, Dan looks like he's going to...
knock someone out.
So he doesn't have to watch any Everton games. And Jeff, I don't know if you caught the pre-match, but Dan was trying to be positive about the whole thing. And bless him, I was trying to bring everyone down to a realistic position where these were the players that let us down last season. This wasn't even the players that are letting us down this season. This was the worst of the worst from last year, brought back in to a team that aren't even doing good this season. And we're sitting here and I actually just think it's fucking, it's apathetic. I'm apathetic. And Lampard, I'm sorry, he's got to take responsibility, because he is the manager. They're not playing well. They're not playing well. It was Bournemouth reserves. Jeff, thoughts?
Thoughts. God, thoughts. How to sum up that in
depression
in a very short sort of space of time. Clueless, pathetic, lazy, slow, completely lacking in ideas.
Are we negative?
Just, I mean, that basically that was on Frank, and like I've wanted Frank to be successful more than I've wanted almost anyone to be successful as a manager at Everton. But he gets Everton is not an excuse for being tactically inept.
I'm so happy.
That was. Sorry, let me just. I want to have a rant, because I've heard you all have a rant, so I'm going to have my rant now. These players are not good enough. They aren't good enough. right? And I don't care, even if you talk about the team that we played on Saturday, they're still not good enough. There's 2 or 3, maybe 4 players who are good enough. There's 4 or 5 players who are all right. They're squad players. But as an overall, this team ain't good enough. They are not Premier League level. I could literally name 6 players tonight that were just unfit to wear the shirt. They were pathetic. Holgate, that was, oh my God. Davies, he's not good enough. Damari Gray scored a goal, but like that doesn't give him a free pass for being shit for the whole rest of the time. We're an appallingly bad side, and I think Frank's done. I think he's done. I think he hasn't got a clue what to do. He's had time. He's had time to at least coach something out of these players, and he isn't getting anything out of these players. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. Saturday now, like if he survives this game, if he loses on Saturday, he has to go. He has to go, and we need to get somebody in who's tactically like
Well, this is big.
knows what they're doing, because like this was a soulless performance. It was gutless. It was clueless, pathetic, headless chicken football from a bunch of players who didn't look like they give a shit. With 1 or 2 exceptions, like Patterson, he at least tried to like run with the ball, and you know he made a few runs and stuff like that. But
Jeff,
you know,
Defensively, though, Patterson, huge mistake. There was Michael Keane-esque from last season.
Yeah.
That's what he
just meant at least he
written all over.
tried to be positive on occasions, but that was about it.
It's like an eggy fart, you know what I mean? It spreads. Once you put frigging Patterson near Michael Keane, he's going to come out smelling like a frigging eggy fart as well. And that's frigging what they did. Oh, this is just... Yeah, but one thing I will say is, Jeff, why, when our team isn't up to standard, our first team, do you go and play the team that's even shitter? Like,
no,
why?
I don't know.
Like,
I can't answer that.
hang on. This is quite a few things here. There's
oh.
questions in there. Should Lampard know better, because these were the players that should he know better? I think he should. And what Jeff has said there is absolutely massive. And I think I want our audience to come in on this. But a lot of comments. Thank you so much for your interaction. We are reading them as they're coming up, but it's finding the right time to bring them in. Thank you so much. You're not going unnoticed. Make sure you like, and if you're new to the
Jeff
channel,
has been Team Lampard as well.
Please subscribe.
I've tried my best, mate. I have.
But Jeff,
I have.
a very big call there. A massive call, John, isn't it? He says it. Lampard should go if he loses on Saturday.
But
this is what a lot of the comments are saying as well, and I completely agree. The amount of times we've been like, yeah, this guy needs to go, or this manager needs to go. It's literally, we've been on repeat. We're like a broken record for the last however many years, for as long as I can remember. We have not had a solid manager since David Moyes left our club. And every single time it's been like, yeah, get this manager out. He's awful. And then a new manager comes in, we're positive for a few weeks, and then it all goes to shit again. We actually need to stick with the manager. And yes, that was a very tactically awful game. But it doesn't help just sacking someone and bringing them in. He needs another transfer window where he can get another striker and sort our team out. Because with our first team, defensively, we actually look much, much sounder. And Lampard's clearly done well. And in the midfield, and he's brought in the players that we need. We need more strikers and more forward ability. So by sacking Lampard, that's a huge statement, and I actually don't agree with it. We need to stick it out and actually develop, because
but how do you know he's good?
Same thing.
How do you know he's good though, Jonathan? How do you know Lampard's good? Because fact is, a lot of people were saying Lampard's job's at stake today, and he needed to come and prove himself in this cup game and get our spirits high, and he's just got to knock our spirits low. How do you know he's good though? No, Cody come in and Tarkowski come in. He brought new players in. How do you know Lampard is good? What's he done this season?
He signed him. Last season, he brought them in. He brought them in this season. He saved us.
That's why they come, because the money as well.
He saved us from last season from getting relegated. This season,
Did
we've
he?
seen
It was the
moments of
fans
very
and the
good-
players.
We have seen some very good moments and some ability. This team that we played today does not represent any of the new quality that we have brought in or seen. It was 11 players from previous seasons, which we have seen have been absolutely dog shit. So
why has he
going
played on there?
forward, yeah, that's
Why has he
a
played
great
on?
question.
But
Yeah,
it
exactly.
doesn't represent him
But-
on the whole.
Hang on a minute, though. Let's just
Yeah,
go back to something that you've just said there, because I'm not having that at all, Jonathan. Because this wasn't Man City we were playing, or Man United,
No.
or
Shit team.
even the Bournemouth first team. It was the Bournemouth fucking reserves. So this team, even though they weren't good last season, they're surely better than Bournemouth's reserve team. That's the thing. Is
Yeah.
it wasn't a case of, we were playing a really good, solid side, a well-drilled side that plays together every week. That was Bournemouth's bench and
100%.
some youngsters.
I'm so
and
well
they
aware of
totally,
that.
totally outplayed. Mina is an international footballer. Keane has played hundreds of games in the Premier League.
I completely agree.
Holgate
with
has
you
played
that what
hundreds
we
of
played-
games. So we're not
team
talking
we
about
played- I know.
yard dog players who've never played before. If we'd played the kids, right now, here's the thing: if we'd played the kids today, if we'd have started, what's his name, Danny Murphy's kid. If we'd have started Stanley Mills, Tom Cannon, if we'd have started Reece Welsh, if we'd have started those players and we lost 4-1, then you would have an argument to say, okay, yeah, these were kids thrown in at the deep end, a bit harsh. But these are professional football players, experienced footballers with hundreds of games in the Premier League under their belt.
Yeah.
And they were a sack of shit.
That's the point I'm making.
And they didn't have
That's
a
not the
clue
point
what
I'm
they were
making.
doing. That's coaching. That's
so well
coaching.
aware.
It's down to coaching.
I'm very well
It's
aware
poorly
of how
coached.
abysmal the performance was today. I'm not denying that. I literally said on our group chat that I am turning this off and I'm not going to watch the second half. But I obviously watched it because that's Everton for you. But
Glutton for
the
punishment.
performance we played was abysmal. I'm not defending any of the players apart, as you say, bar one or two. But the difference is there have been moments in the season with our first team and the signings that have been brought in where we have seen very positive football and we've been very forward. We've been together. We played as a team and as a unit. What I'm saying is if by sacking Lampard now, you are going to undo any of the work he's done and go through the whole cycle again, we'll not get anywhere. And it's going to be in the exact same as what's been happening.
I don't agree with that.
Here's one for you, though. Here's one for you. Do you think
this season we have played games where we have played very well as a team and we've been positive? We've had good results as well. We played against Liverpool and we kept a clean sheet. We won a few games ago before we've gone on this bad run. We had one of the best defensive records in the league, and everyone was absolutely raving and saying what a great job Lampard has done and changing the defence around, getting rid of Keane.
That was
and all
lucky
of that.
though.
Wait, it wasn't luck because it
was
over
luck.
quite
It
a
was
long
luck.
stint of games.
How many
We have
times
gone
did
on a
Liverpool
bad
hit
run
the
now.
post and the crossbar against us? How many goals could they have scored if not for last-ditch challenges? We got away with luck. We got absolutely played off the park by Brentford, and we snuck a draw out of that. We got absolutely destroyed. Hang on. We got absolutely destroyed by Southampton after we went ahead. They dominated the entire rest of the game, and it was the keeper and the defenders throwing in last-ditch challenges left, right, and centre that stopped them getting back in the game. Against West
your
Ham,
body in the line
against
exactly what you need.
I know, but that's not a tactic.
Exactly that.
That's not a tactic that's going to win your long-term foot. It's not a tactic. Last-ditch challenges is not a tactic. It's desperation. It's a sign of desperation.
I need to moderate this chat. There's a lot of comments coming in. We've got 100 people watching as well. I think you both make
very quickly a 30-second point. Just
but this is my point. This is my point, though.
Hang on.
Let me just say this quick.
Dan. We need to stay focused. John's got a migraine. I think what John is saying is fair enough. that he doesn't want to see the manager change because
I don't either.
Yeah.
How many times have we had a new manager come in?
hang on,
Everyone's been positive for about a month and been like, yeah, we can actually really do something now.
So this is my point, though. This is my point. Jonathan, listen to this. Are you saying
the exact same thing is going to happen?
Listen to this.
We're going to get a new manager in between a window period where we can't get any signings. People are going to say, yeah, we need to give him a window or two, and the exact same thing is going to happen.
So listen to this then. So if let me just have this. Let me have this moment. So if Lampard is shit, right? Because we've got a massive phobia because we had loads of crap managers and it messed us up, we have to stick with Lampard because we don't want to keep having new managers. So it's not possible for another manager to come in and stay and us have a good future with this manager. So because we're scared of having loads of other managers that's going to mess us up, we have to stick with Lampard. Even if it's shit, even if it's a crap manager, let's just stick with Lampard because we've got this phobia of someone else coming in. There's only so much we can give him. And this Lampard kept us up. The fans kept us up. Lampard had some bad results. Did you watch that? Was it Burnley where they come back and Lampard could have brought Delph on and they ended up beating us 3-2? Lampard had some bad games. The fans kept us up, and luckily, by some miracle, that Crystal Palace performance happened. Fact is, Lampard ain't that good tactically, and it's showing. Do you want to have that danger at the end of the season for him to get us relegated, or do you bring someone in new now? I know I love Lampard to pieces and I want him to succeed, but what he's done tonight has not helped his cause. And I feel it's a bit cocky that he put that team out and thought they'd do well. It feels like he doesn't realise that his job's at stake. I thought after Lampard being at Chelsea and him losing his job, he'd be managing Everton and he'd manage Everton every day like it could be his last day. And he'd take chances and he'd go for it and he'd show so much passion to keep his Everton job. He just seems chilled and relaxed. He did with the Calvert-Lewin situation. He said, oh, we've got Calvert-Lewin coming back. You don't realise we've got Calvert-Lewin coming back. We all knew Calvert-Lewin would get injured. We all knew what would happen. But no, we wanted to put all his eggs in one basket on Calvert-Lewin. Oh, and he's injury prone. What a surprise. And we could have brought that frigging Blackburn striker in and had a centre forward. But instead, tonight, we watch us frigging putting long balls to Mopé, who's the bloody only option that we've got. We're buggered because of that arrogance. There's a couple of things that Lampard's done. He's been bad tactically loads of times this season where we could have picked up more points and parked the bus and just done things simple. And he ain't getting it right. But I love him and I want him to succeed more than anything. But my love for him is making me just accept a manager that isn't that good tactically.
I'm not defending him on this game. All I'm saying is this is a cup game and he played an awful team and changed the 11. In the league, there is no chance he was doing that. If he did that in the league, then I would say, yes, enough's enough. That is an abysmal decision. This is in a cup game where he's tried something different. And to kick him out, and you're saying like, oh, you're scared to get rid of him and we'll get relegated in the league. It's a very different thing in the cup than to the league.
John, Dan and Jack, you've all made really good comments, and I think they all stand quite valid in a way. I mean, I look at this game and you could say, well, you can treat it in isolation because it is a cup game and these players don't start in the league and we're better in the league, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, we touched on this in the preview. Are we better in the league? I mean, we play two very good centre-backs as Jeff, as Jeff has alluded to, they have to make a lot of last-ditch tackles to bail out very poor players around them. We don't look like scoring goals, so it's not as if we're playing very offensive football and we're getting caught out. We're not really playing that offensive football. We just make some very silly mistakes and end up getting punished every single match. But it's not through committing loads of players forward and having four in a box. It's rare. There was one occasion today where no one in the box and Ruben Van Agra's played the best cross I've seen all season.
Yeah, that pissed me off so much. That was the best cross ever. It was perfectly in, and there was literally not one player in the box. Everyone. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Ridiculous.
But basically, Lampard.
I haven't made the point. You don't want to sack. No one wants to sack the manager because no one wants the whole stress and the rigmarole of who do we get in and blah, blah, blah and all of that. I don't think it's such a straightforward conversation. There's been that many managers and I think we have to give him a bit more time, but there will be some fans that have lost patience because I don't think we've shown a lot tactically. But then I say, what will another manager get out of these bunch? You're not going to turn Davis into some brilliant footballer. He's the same players have let us down before. He missed a sitter. Gordon missed a sitter. It's the same players. So what will the manager change do? That's one question.
The one thing I will say. The one thing I will say to that, and I've tried my best to defend Lampard because I really want him to succeed. But he's being showing up tactically, game after game after game. It's not like it's a one-off thing. It's a consistent pattern. If you tactically bad consistently, substitutions too late, starting with the wrong players, starting with the wrong system, there's just so many things. Bringing on the wrong players. Like when we're in a certain situation, you think we should bring this guy on, but they don't. They bring another guy on. So there's quite a few things that I'm not liking about the way he's actually setting us up and the way we're playing. And the one thing I will say is if you actually was to sack a manager now and bring someone in,
it's got time.
The one good thing is to say that they get a pre-season tour to Australia to work with the players, and then they'll get a January window to bring in some players in key areas, and so if you're gonna sack somebody, now would be the perfect time to do it because it gives you that break for the World Cup, a pre-season tour, and then a window to make enough changes. So I'm not saying maybe we sack him, maybe we don't. I don't know. That's up for the managers to decide. But on the positive side of going back to what Jonathan was saying, was like, at least from my point of view, is if we do bring someone else in, this is the perfect time to do it because we've only played 14 games, is it, in the league? 15 it'll be on Saturday. So there's a huge amount of time to turn this around.
He won't.
And a window. No, I think he probably won't as well. But there'll be a window for him to actually. So it's difficult. But I feel like really, really annoyed with this one tonight because this feels indefensible because this wasn't just like one or two players not turning up. This was a whole team, most of the bench and the manager not turning up. This was pathetic. This was utterly pathetic.
You three are going to be my witnesses here and all the people watching now. And I know this is a post-match reaction, but I'm going to turn it into a pre-match video. I am telling you right here, right now, next time on Saturday, when we go back and have the exact same fixture, we are actually going to win because we're going to
we probably will, but so what?
Because it's a different game and it shows you that it's a different thing going in the cup and the league. And I think if we are playing our first 11 team, we actually are so much stronger. Defensively, we are on it. Today, we had the likes of Michael Keane, who I cannot slate enough from last season, and all the other times. We've had players who have not played together since God knows how long, since we were in the mud last season. All these players do not know how to play football, and there is a reason why Lampard came in and signed Connor Cody, Tarkowski, Onana, Garnagay, all these players instead of Davies and Decore, who make so many simple errors. We were passing the ball around 1-0 down and 2-0 down around the back and on the edge of our box for about 45 minutes.
But surely that's tactics, then, isn't it?
There is nothing these players can do. They are not skillful, and this is why they don't fit into.
Well, they can hoof the ball up the pitch, and we can play long ball. Then that's a tactic.
Yeah, but Jonathan, do you know where we are in the league? Where are we in the league?
Very, very well aware 16. Where we are in the league.
No, I'm just saying that you're speaking like we're doing well in the league, but we've done shit in the cup.
I'm not saying we're doing well in the league, but I'm saying that there is potential in our first. And there is a reason these players have come in. And the difference between last season and this season, defensively and in the midfield, is so different. And yes, we are struggling in the league. And there's a very valid reason for that. Because we don't have an out-and-out striker that we need that is firing on all cylinders. They've said that we've brought back They said that we've brought back Calvert-Lewin, but he has been injured on and off for countless months now, and you can't
You knew
expect
that.
him to just be put in and straight away. We sold Richarlison, who was our leading goal scorer of last season. It
Didn't
won't
replace
be.
him.
I used to slate. Yeah, exactly. So that's
That's
the problem.
Lampard's fault.
I'm saying
Well, that's a
you
separate
can't.
thing.
I don't rate Mopé and just one sec. I don't rate Mopé and McNeil all that well either, and I wouldn't say that they are the replacements that we need. So by sacking Lampard, you are going to miss out on the opportunity. He has built a very strong defence and a very strong midfield. Give him the winter window, the mid-season window, and if he brings in a striker that we need with the recruitment that he will have, we will be able to actually build a whole team on a unit. I have faith in Lampard to be able to do the job that he has started. It is not a simple process. You can't snap your fingers and suddenly get rid of all the errors. He has replaced our defence with actually two solid players. And midfield, we've got Onana and Gay, who I actually rate so highly. If we bring in the striker that we need, yes, we didn't do it last window, and that should have been something that happened. But give him time. It's not an overnight process. And by rinsing through all these managers, it gets us nowhere and puts us back right at the beginning again.
I'm going to give some structure to this video just because I'm conscious of time. What you're saying, though, John, is you're banking on, you're basically putting all your eggs on a January signing for a centre forward that probably hasn't happened. Well, we're here right now, and what we've seen is we finished 16th with a load of shite players. We're still 16th, but we signed all these wonderful players you're talking about. And yes, we look more solid defensively, but we don't look, we're about as blunt as, I don't know, but we've got no attacking edge to us. We've got no.
Yeah, but last season we had strikers going forward. We had Richarlison and we had other players that were able to score goals. But our defensive was so poor that we conceded far too many goals, and that's why we were in the same position. Now it's a role reversal, and we've completely sorted out our defence. And if we still had our strikers such as Richarlison, then we would actually be a whole unit. But we got rid of our star striker.
But
and
have we
didn't think
sorted
to
out our
replace him.
defence?
I think we have.
Have we?
Fulham, 20 chances to Leicester. That's not acceptable. I don't think we have sorted the defence.
No, I don't either.
The defence.
Look at our chances per game that we create. On average, we have about 0, 1 or 2 chances in a whole game.
Yeah, but the thing is,
the fact that they're having 20 chances in a game does not say anything about if we conceded 20 goals, then yeah, fair enough. But we actually concede few goals in the game. If we actually had a striker or a capable team going forward, it would be a very different story, and we would not be 16th. Last season, our defence was in shambles and our strike force was good. Now it's a role reversal, which is why we are in the exact same position, because we don't have a striker. But we've sorted our defensive errors out. We need a striker to then go forward and complete the whole team. That's what I'm saying.
You just said you don't rate McNeil and Mopé. Lampard, he brought them in. So you're just saying he needs a striker. He's brought them two in. Lampard's brought them two in. There's his tools.
I don't back them. Just because I've agreed with Lampard on one thing doesn't mean I can.
I'm just saying though. You just said how big it is, how much of a difference it is that we get a striker. That the striker makes this much of a difference. Lampard knew that. So why did he bring those two players in that you just said you don't rate?
He bought them very. He bought them very late on in the window, and it was sort of more. Mopé was
McNeil wasn't.
Last day or something.
McNeil wasn't.
I know.
Was he?
I don't rate him. But again, one player doesn't make the difference. We need a whole window to be able to
One player
focus
does make the difference. That's literally what you're saying.
Yeah, striker makes a big difference.
I'm saying all together as a whole.
Do you not think though? Do you not think, like, you say Lampard's done this, Lampard's done that? Fact is, 2 good centre-backs have come in and Lampard's signed some good centre midfielders. They've been okay, which has made Everton look better, just because he's signed them. Has Lampard made them amazing? Has he made Everton amazing by bringing them in? No.
Gay and Onana were responsible for the Leicester defeat. You know, conceding that stupid goal.
Yeah, but is Lampard coaching them right? Is he getting the best out of them? Because honestly, when Onana first come in, he looked good. He seems to be going downhill. Like, he's draining the life out of Onana.
Was that fault for the Leicester defeat? I would argue the first goal was.
Please, we've got a lot of people watching this. John, I think you have valid points. Jeff, I think you've all made very valid points here that we can go on and on and on and talk about. There's the issue here for our viewers. Do we sack Lampard? Do we give him more time? Has he improved the players? And then there's the element: have we bought well? and who is responsible if we haven't bought well and not given him the right players. So there's very, very complex here. It's not so straightforward. We've got a lot of people watching. Thank you for joining us. We will come to some comments now. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for us. We are 20 subscribers away from 1,500 last time I looked. Please, if you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button for us and support us, because we have come now here to front up this terrible result today where Everton lost 4-1 away at Bournemouth. Yes,
Against a Sunday League team.
Yes, it was a lot of players from last season, but also new players too. Ruben Vinagre signed by Frank Lampard. Nathan Patterson signed by Frank Lampard. James Garner signed by Frank Lampard. Neil Maupay came off. He was useless. McNeil, he's more like a Happy Meal. He is absolutely useless. And it's the same shite day. I'm going to come to the comments now. We're not scoring enough from Rose. Welcome to the channel. Brendan saying, Jonathan, you spot on. We've also got another comment from someone who's saying you're spot on, John. You've got a lot of support there with giving Lampard time and an understanding of probably where we are as a club. Question, why didn't he buy a striker after selling Richarlison? Well,
yeah, that's unforgivable. That if you know he is our star striker, you can't not replace him.
Well,
and yeah, you could argue he's irreplaceable, but he sorted
Maupay.
the rest.
This is Neil Maupay we signed. Peter saying, I don't want to watch another Everton game under Moshiri. He doesn't have a clue. Graham is saying Jonathan is the only one talking sense. We've all
been on the Jonathan wagon. We've all backed Lampard, and we've tried. Like you say, we all have backed him. Like Jonathan's backed him tonight. Fair dues to Jonathan backing him. Like he won't get sacked. Basically, he won't get sacked. But I'm just saying he's been shit.
Yeah, but I think you're focused too much on today's result, and I'm
not. I'm still fuming from Leicester.
Obviously, it is one of the worst results we've ever seen. However, it is a completely different. It's literally not Everton. Like, you have started a new starting 11.
But he chose that.
Who have either not. Yeah, I know he did, and I'm not excusing that because but everyone sees a cup game and they're like, oh yeah, it's a chance to rest players. It's a chance to bring give people a run out. But it's not, because we are not Man City. We are not Liverpool. We are not these teams with incredible squad depth that can start playing their under-15s and still guarantee like a 4-0 win. We are not there.
Let's just backtrack on what you just said there, right? Is who played number 6 in the game against Liverpool? Who played the defensive midfield role? Tom Davies did. Like, who played up front for us today? They're all first team players. They're not like
I agree with you,
kids,
but the difference
right?
is
They were first team players.
Davies,
So what we're talking about here, Patterson played tonight. Begovic is a good quality goalie. So you're literally talking about, we swapped a couple of defenders out and we changed the system. We didn't play.
What you've said is correct. You've come to the wrong conclusion.
No,
what's happened is
what I'm saying. Hang on. You've literally just bowled over everybody who doesn't agree with you. But let's just question. Hang on, let's just question the actual things that you're actually saying. Is this match was tactically. You shut me up. What happened then?
Jeff, go on. I just need to keep it nice.
No, it's fine. I'm not like trying to have a go. I'm literally looking at this match and saying, this is Premier League. This is a Premier League squad of players, right? Experienced players. These are not under 19s players coming into our first team and playing a game against a top level team. This isn't what happened tonight. What happened tonight is at least 4 or 5 of our first team and 4 or 5 who would be on the bench every week for us. So that's first team squad players were in this game tonight against Bournemouth's bench and got absolutely snotted. We got snotted by Bournemouth's bench. I'm sorry, but like, there's no, you can't paper over that at all. You can't
that
paper
comment
over
back
that.
up.
You can't paper over that. That was inept, and it was tactically appalling. Why did we play 5 at the back against Bournemouth's bench? Why
What
are
I
we
was
playing?
going to say,
Like,
you mentioned
why?
Tom Davies. You mentioned Tom Davies, and you're
He's a
saying that he
solid
was a
player.
starter. You said that he was a starter in the Liverpool
He started
game.
in the
The dis-
derby. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. The difference is he had 10 other players around him who would regularly start. Today, he had all the shite that we have built up in the last few seasons and put them all together on a thing. That's like
But they
if
were
you had a
playing
chef
against
who had all
Bournemouth's
the fresh
bench.
ingredients, he picks all the crap bits left over and sticks it together and makes something else.
You can't
Davies
make an
was
excuse.
played well.
We were
I'm not
playing
making
against
an excuse.
Bournemouth's bench. Bournemouth's
And
bench.
there's a
Not their
reason why
first
we
team.
had 11,
Their bench.
Okay,
11
moving on, John. Dan.
11 changes.
Dan. I want
So
to
did
speak to
Bournemouth.
Jeff and Jonathan's. I don't quite understand where the argument comes from, because at the end of the day, if you look at this game in isolation, Dan, it's completely right that we should have expected a little bit better than that. You know, Bournemouth's bench, Bournemouth reserves. Some of these are international footballers who play for us. Decore, Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, Nathan Patterson signed in the summer. James Garner meant to be this upcoming player.
Anthony Gordon.
We made it look like Bournemouth.
Mopay.
We made it look like Bournemouth subs are international players. Like Jeff said, and me and Jeff don't agree a lot, but fact is, those players that played against us today, that wasn't their first team. They put a poor team out today. And the thing is, Lampard, like it or not, say these players are shit or not, Lampard's been coaching Keane, Mina. He spent a lot of time with these on the training ground or just talking to them and stuff. And what has Lampard done as a coach to make them any better? And I'm telling you, they were shit anyway, but he's made them twice as shit. And fact is, if Lampard knows that this game was big, if Lampard's been working with them, which he should know what they're going to bring, he shouldn't be putting them on the pitch if they're going to do that. And he shouldn't be putting them all on the pitch together if they're going to do that. Yes, I understand. Drop Cody or Tarkowski, but play one. Play one with one of the shit ones to help them. And it's the same with the centre midfield. Same with the centre midfield. Yeah, but why is he same with the centre midfield? He should have started Iwobi and played him with Garner. He's completely killed Everton's vibes. He's knocked us down under the ground there, because that, like Jeff said, you can't argue that team we played today was shit, and they beat us 4-1, and it could have been 5 or 6. We couldn't pass the ball against them. We did absolutely nothing. What was Lampard's plan? It's like basically Lampard put a presentation out today. That was Lampard's presentation. That's his presentation. He put that out. That was Lampard's piece that he put out today as a manager. So he's got to take the stick for it, because he put that out, and it was shocking. As a manager, you've got to prove yourself. If they were that shit, then Lampard shouldn't have put them out. All those players are under Lampard's wings. That's why managers say, I take responsibility. You hear them do it all the time. They're my players. I take responsibility because he's in charge of them. Lampard put that out. He knew that was going to happen. Well, I don't know what he thought. I'm lost with Lampard at the minute. I don't know whether he's too arrogant to... I don't know. I really don't. But that was frustrating tonight. That was really, really... And I know what you're saying, Jonathan. It's just a cup game. And even if we win our next game, I'm still going to be frustrated that Lampard did this last game.
Jonathan has unfortunately been machined to accept that where we are is where we are, and actually to give time to turn it around, where I think the reality is, it isn't acceptable what's going on. It isn't. And I think the only thing that's stopping people from getting on the back of this manager is the fact we've had 6 before him who've also had this hierarchy of players coming in where we don't sign well and we can't get the tune out of them and there's no plan. It's the same this season. They left the manager without a top quality striker or a goal scorer.
Ryan, there's 2 things why we don't want Lampard to go so much. The 2 reasons why we don't want Lampard to go so much is, 1, because he says everything we like to hear. He's a really, really good talker. Lampard is the best talker you'll ever get, and he does care about the fans, and that's why we've connected with him massively. And the other reason is he does bring good players in. He's a draw. They're the 2 things. So he invites good players in. Fair enough. He's good on the phone. and he's good. And the other reason, but is he a good manager tactically? I don't think so. Will that cost you? Yes, I think it will. Like I say, I love him. He's amazing. He understands Everton. He gets Everton. That's the reason we're connected to him. But that could be very, very dangerous because it's making us love him so much.
I also think he's very smart. He's very smart.
Yeah, he is.
He knows.
Plays the media.
Yeah, to get the Everton fans on side. If you can get the Everton fans on side. Now, I'm not saying
stupid.
Coming from a cynical place, perhaps. Typical cynical Ryan. But is there an element of him trying to connect with the fans because he knows that will give more time?
Of course it will.
I think there is. This is a good comment here from Dan Campbell. Welcome to the channel, Dan. I don't know whether you've been here before. Manager is not responsible for the miss-sitters, players slipping over or lapses in concentration, i.e. the Patterson for the third goal, for example. How is appointing a new manager not equally as risky as holding on nerve and sticking with Frank? That's a very good point, Dan. John, would you like to come in on that?
Yeah,
I think go on, John. Go for it. You're Team Lampard.
Look, today was an abysmal decision starting those 11 players, especially all together. What Jeff said before about Davies being in the Liverpool team, he was there, but he wasn't surrounded by 10 other useless players. He was around a on-point team, right? So today, Frank Lampard's decision to play those 11 is one of the worst decisions he's probably made since being at the club. However, you can't expect one player to be in a full strong team to play the same as they do when they're playing with all the 11. All the mistakes that we have had from last seasons where we haven't played well has all come out today. Every single sort of error we had, from missing sitters, Davies blasting the ball over the bar on a one-on-one, to have Patterson slip over like Keane did from last season. All these errors, the reason why we got rid of these players, and you can't exactly call them all starters, because yes, these players have come on as starters, but not as a whole starting 11 together. They have been individuals in a much better team. When you play around other people that are strong, you improve your own ability. If you start playing next to Michael Keane and all these other players who are abysmal, the same thing is going to happen. You can't start to create all these chances when you're playing with absolute shite around you. For 45 minutes, our players were passing the ball around on the edge of our box, not moving forward. And yes, you can say tactically, Lampard hasn't got a clue there. But that is the players playing all together. And that is not the starting 11 team. That is not the Everton that we have started to build under Lampard.
But that wasn't the Bournemouth starting 11. They haven't played together before either.
But that's irrelevant.
They haven't played together before either.
Oh.
And not only have they never played before together, they've never played Premier League level before either.
Johnny's
so
right.
They literally swapped 11 players the same as we did. So you cannot give an excuse or a pass to our players, whilst at the same time, like Bournemouth, Bournemouth managed to make the same number of changes.
Carry this on, but I just read it. Carry this on YouTube. I just read a comment saying, no, just let me drop this. Do you two carry on? This is just separate. Someone said Dan changes his mind every week. It's supporting Everton. It sends your head absolutely bombing, mate.
But yeah, so we've swapped 11ing players, but Bournemouth also swapped 11 players. So the same excuse you're giving, the same excuse you're giving to our players, they haven't played together all season. They're just coming in for this one game and all that kind of stuff. That same rule goes for the Bournemouth side. They've got a caretaker manager because they sacked their own manager. So they clearly weren't in great form. They haven't won a game in the last 6 until they played us today.
Yeah.
So this is not a great performing team that's come in and turned us over when we've played shite. This is an underperforming first team swapping out their whole first team for their bench and absolutely fucking bending us over and bumming us. That's not acceptable, and you have to give the manager the blame for that, the responsibility for that, because he has been coaching these players. That assistant manager at Bournemouth has only been in charge of their team for like two games or something like that, and he managed to turn that bench into a functioning side that snotted us everywhere.
Because they've
And
got a
we've
clear
had-
way of
We've
playing.
got we've
Exactly.
we've got fans travelling back tonight. Long journey after that, and it's disgusting. Honestly, I know some people say, "Oh, it's a cup game; it don't matter. I'd rather win the next game." Fans are still travelling back tonight, coughed up wages to go all the way and watch that. And like Jeff said, against a team like that is disgraceful. Like, it generally is disgraceful. That team,
Jeff.
it was probably 8. They had more players, Jonathan. They had more players changed than us. I know you say,
Look,
"Oh,
I'm well aware.
You said about
They
no, but you
also-
do you know Garner? Let me just put one point to you here, because it's onto what you've been saying. Do you know Garner? He's been getting in our team. Everyone's been crying out for Garner to play. And you said we changed the midfield that much with Davis. Davis plays with Garner, who we want to play, who everyone's been asking to play. So the only one that's changed, and Decore, so there hasn't been. Patterson's on the other side. Everyone's been asking for the left back. So all your midfield, which we was shambles and couldn't pass through, there wasn't that many changes. We had Gordon up top. We had Moper. We had a lot more first teamers in, Jonathan, than what they did. We should have absolutely destroyed them. We should have showed the difference. Basically, do you know when Gray come on and he looked like he was in a bit of a different league, and he come on and he scored? All of our players should have done that. We should have looked like Gray, where we had that difference, where we make their players look like they was their reserves. They show the reason why their players couldn't get into the first team. You can't defend that. And I get what you're saying, Jonathan, a little bit, but we had some players on today. We had quite a few players on today, Premier League players. Their team, honestly, if you go through their team, I think they probably put 7 changes in. I'm not even joking. 7 changes.
I'm a Bournemouth fan, and I do not watch all their games. I don't know who half their players are. My point
Unfortunately, I do.
We've seen these players from Everton from last season, and we've seen all the previous errors that they've made. To then make the decision to play all these players together is what I'm saying. We know the errors that these players make, and we've seen them all come out again tonight. These players have not changed.
Right, so that's a tactic. That's on Lampard then, isn't it? That's Lampard's decision. He chose to play these players who are utterly shit, who nearly got us relegated in a match that we would have given us a place in like the quarterfinal.
Go back after this video. If you go back after this video and rewatch it, you will hear me say constantly that it is unforgivable from Lampard to put that team out tonight. And I'm saying that because it's his tactics from today and the team selection. I'm not saying it's his tactics overall. I'm saying his team selection today was abysmal. And yes, you've said that Bournemouth have gone and done the exact same thing and put out 11 new players. But the point I'm trying to make is that we put the players out from last season, and they're all putting together all the shite that they had from last season, and it's all come out again today. I'm saying the team selection from Lampard is appalling. I'm not saying
I understand that, but this is where I'm having a problem with what you're saying, right? Yes, some of these players that we brought in tonight have been poor in the Premier League. But they were in the Premier League. They weren't in like the conference. They weren't like in the under-18s or the under-21 squads. They weren't in the Championship. They were Premier League players that were underperforming because of various different reasons. But they're still Premier League players with hundreds of games under their belt, right? So they were still man for man in every single position, bar maybe 1 or 2, better than the Bournemouth side that got put out tonight, because they were like second string Championship players and under 21s and stuff like that. And that's the fact of it is that team, even if it was less than our best first team, it's still better than Bournemouth's second string. It's still better than Bournemouth's second string, and we were shocking. And it wasn't.
It's not our players.
Let me just chuck this in though as well to Jonathan on top of what Jonathan said. Do you know where you said Lampard? You've admitted Lampard's decisions were shocking tonight. Like you said, that's one thing you have admitted. Tonight his decisions were shocking. Our fans, I've read a lot this season in the Premier League. A lot of people haven't agreed with Lampard's decisions. His subs are too late. He makes the wrong subs. It's not the first time his decisions have been shocking. So you're just like saying it's just the cup, don't worry. He's cost us a few points by bringing the wrong players on, by teams coming back and getting a draw against us,
Making
costing us
subs
2
too
points,
late.
making subs too late, not parking the bus, playing the wrong players, not playing Mupo with Calvert-Lewin, not trying. Basically, he
Playing
isn't doing
defensive
everything. It's
tactics
not
at home.
by his defensive tactics at home. Yeah, Man United going 1-0 up. Maybe you could have made a sub to do something then. He's seen things happening, and we've seen it happening. We're like, oh no, we're going to concede here. And the sub doesn't get made till we concede. And tonight was a perfect example of that. And fair enough, we've said all the players are shit. But fact is, the moment we went 1-0 down and that back three wasn't working with the wing backs and we couldn't string a pass together, Lampard, when we're 1-0 down, needs to think, I need to win this cup game. So then he goes to the back four. Why we're 1-0 down? And then he changes it. No, he has to wait and persist. And then we go 2-0 down. And then we've got too much to do. And he's out. He could have made the change a lot earlier.
After we went 1-0 down, we had probably our best phase in the game for probably 10-15 minutes, and we just didn't get the goal because Davies blasted one over the bar, and we missed.
You told him it was going to. Yeah, I know we had that chance, that miracle. I know we had that miracle chance.
Proactive, but you have to react to certain decisions, and we have these chances going forward. All of a sudden, if you go 1-0 down, you're not going to suddenly switch every single decision up. You need to react on how the game's going.
Did you think, Jonathan, to tell the truth, when we was in that formation at half-time, did you think Lampard needed to make changes? Did you think that was going to bring us back into the game? That formation and that... You really did think that, yeah?
No, I said...
That we didn't need to bring any players on? Oh, you thought we needed to make changes, yeah. Yeah, I thought the same thing and he didn't. That's all I'm saying. Is generally...
But I wouldn't... If I was the manager, I wouldn't have picked anywhere near that starting 11. I would have played
that's why I'm frustrated.
Full-strength team. And I would have played, as you said, I would have played Patterson. I would have played either Connor Cody or Tarkowski.
100%.
I would not have had Keane even on the bench. I would have had him sit watching at home. I would have started writing up a contract to have him sold. I wouldn't have played anywhere near there. Decore against Leicester conceded us the goal. He was abysmal. And if you watch today as well, he's the most... Playing Davies and Decore together is literally an equation for passing backwards. They are so backwards. They always pass backwards. So playing them is an instant mistake anyway. Our whole team was so pathetic. But that is because we are playing the team from last season that was flooded with mistakes. And that is why I don't forgive Lampard for tonight, because of the team selection. However, I do not think it was from the tactics.
I did say when I seen Decore, by the way, I was completely against the team. I agree with you. I wanted a strong team to get us ready for the next game and build a confidence. But I got behind Decore for the one last time, and this is the one last time I am ever going to get behind Decore. I am done with Decore, like, completely. Like, generally, he's got to go now. Like, I don't know why I thought he might step it up today, because I thought this is his last chance. And I tell you something, I'm done with Decore. Like, generally, he can't play, he can't pass forward. I can't believe that we was going to pay 40 million for him. I don't know whether you can remember, but the first time we wanted him, the talks was 40 million. And then the season after, luckily, we signed him for 20. Was it 20 million?
I apologise, by the way. I realise that I have gotten a bit of an arc tonight, because it's just like... it's just like, I mean... as Dan knows, I try to be the voice of reason. I really do. I try to sort of be honest and straightforward and all of that kind of stuff. And I do my best. I really do my best to be reasonable and give fair debate and give fair criticism, and fair praise. When things go well and when things are done right, I'll give the praise that's due. If things are done wrong, I'll give that fair criticism. And I've watched every minute of Everton this season. I've watched, like, just some atrocious football, and
That's
other than one game against Crystal Palace, I haven't seen us put together a good 90-minute performance under Lampard at all. No, sorry. The first game, the Brentford Cup game, when he first arrived, that was a good game. possibly the Leeds game. But other than that, in every single other game, we've struggled, and we've struggled to play good football, and we've got results on moments in games, not like a consistent whole performance. Like we've played well for like a 20-minute spell or a 10-minute spell, or we've got a couple of goals up and we've defended like Trojans or something like that. But I'm not seeing like a pattern of play. I'm not seeing us actually developing into a kind of possession-based football team that Frank Lampard wanted. I understand we haven't got all of the players that we want to, but we should still be able to play through the midfield. We can't play through the midfield. We're bloody awful. And like that Leicester game was proof of that. And it was clear to me that we aren't good enough. We're not good enough. And if you're not good enough to play a certain way, then you have to be pragmatic and play another way until you get all of the pieces in place. So we should have been playing like 4-4-2 maybe, like or just anything different. But we've been doing the same thing over and over and over again, and literally we've not improved. Tactically, we look awful. We look open and exposed and vulnerable, and it's basically the magnificence, the sheer magnificence of Tarkowski and Cody
that saved our arse.
that have kept us in games and saved our arse time and time again. Otherwise, we would be bottom of the league based on like all the other metrics of the side. We would be bottom of the league, other than if the keeper hadn't made some amazing saves and Cody and Tarkowski went pulling the strings in defence and holding things together, because we are dreadful. We are dreadful.
Just quickly, Jeff, because my phone's about to die. My phone's about to die, so I'm just going to give my final, and I'll leave you boys to it. I think it is a write-off. Like it's a joke, and that is not the Everton that I know and love. I safe to say that I am significantly younger than both of you. I was born in 2001.
Oh, thanks, mate.
How old are you? How old are you?
He's a whippersnapper, mate.
How old are you?
I was born 21.
No, how old are you? Age? 21. Oh, I thought you was like a bit older than 21.
I was born in 2001. That means I have not seen Everton ever win a trophy.
Neither have I.
So you guys have had.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't seen.
Right. Well, anyway, I am. So the majority of me growing up and watching Everton, we are literally, apart from Moyes, we have literally gone through countless managers, going through sackings. And for the last however many years, it's just been a rinse and recycle repeat. We are a broken record. And every single time we sack a manager, we get positive for a few weeks, and then it all happens again. And we're like, just give the manager a window, give him two, give him this, and then everyone loses faith. And then we sack him and we start all over again. It's been the same cycle for years. I want to give Lampard time. I want to give him a window. And you know what? If we go through a run of bad spells and games, then so be it. Give him time, because the same thing is happening again and again and again. I believe that he will be able to bring in a player in the January window, and actually after time, it's not an overnight process. Give him time. Anyway, okay. On that note, I will leave you boys to it, but enjoy. And I'll
Thanks,
see you
mate.
Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon.
Cheers, bye. Mate.
Fair play. To be fair, sometimes we've all backed Lampard up. You've been team Lampard. I've backed Lampard up sometimes, but we've been there. It's draining. I think you've got to call him out today. We're like you said, Jeff, we've been battered there against a really, really bad team. I can't come on here and pretend that that's fine, because it's worrying, especially after Leicester getting dominated as well. And some of the other games, like you say, Crystal Palace probably is the only good game.
What really worried me tonight is the pace at which we play. And it's something I've seen. It's not just tonight. It isn't just tonight. It's we've been doing this, the same thing all season. It's slow. It's so easy to defend against us, because like we don't pay. The only thing that we've got going for us in attack is that we've got attackers with pace who can like get behind the lines and like get in behind the team. So why do we play in front of them? Side. So by the time we're actually trying to play a ball to somebody who has got pace, they've got 3 men on them. So they've got to be 3 men to actually do something with it, and that's almost impossible. So it's like we're playing a tactic to suit a team that we don't actually have. Like we're trying to play through the lines and try and play tippy-tappy football and stuff, and it's like it's only ever worked in the game against Crystal Palace. That was what we wanted to see. But in all of the rest of the games, it just hasn't worked, and it's like. Oh, I'm just so frustrated.
Do you know what though? Do you know where we say? Do you know when we watched this game? I don't know if you've seen this as well. Like I thought, fair enough, this formation. I know it don't work, but I thought if he's going to play it, I'll watch it. But do you know on these like where he played with the wing backs, Jeff? Do you know when they had possession in their defence?
Yeah.
When we pressed, Patterson wasn't up, Vinagre wasn't up. No. We didn't press together. So they passed it so easily, and we didn't press. Yeah. Did you see that as well, where we didn't press?
We didn't press.
Like, I didn't mind that formation if your wing backs are right high, but that didn't happen, did it? And I think that's what made it frustrating. Right, Jeff. I think go for a few.
We have gone through the goals, mate. To be honest, but it's one of those.
Don't make us cry. Don't make us cry on the channel.
Yeah, just don't.
Well, Jeff, do you want to? Shall we lap this up? And I think we've had a good one. To be fair, loads on. Like we've had loads and loads of people on. Unfortunately, unfortunately, loads come on when we're shit. Yeah.
I understand that, Michael. He has had one window, and it's one of those where, like. I want to be patient, and I want him to succeed more than any manager we've had in such a long time because I really like the fella. And yeah, he does get the club, and he speaks so well. He relates to the fans, and yeah, I really, really want him to succeed.
He's a really nice person, and generally, I can't say like you say, Jeff. I get hooked on how much of a nice person he is and how much he gets the fans. But fact is, if he isn't showing he's got it tactically, if he isn't showing he's got that, as a manager, there's only so far that those nice things that he's got that me and Jeff love can carry you. And I get, this is the big problem. We are so scared of getting a manager and him going and another manager because we have finally got rid of all the deadwood and our squad is in a proper good condition. But you have got to remember, for me, Jeff will agree with this because he's a big fan of him. Farewell has brought most of these players in. Farewell is sailing the ship as well. He's been the main man that's brought some of these in, like the centre backs and stuff. So if Lampard did go, Farewell would probably pick the manager, wouldn't he? And he'd probably.
Sorry, that's the comment of the day.
What he said?
Blue Nose. He said, "My night's getting worse. Can't satisfy the wife now. I blame Frank." Lol.
Well, I'm sorry, we can't help you with
You've lost Wood. That's how bad Everton.
If you want to private message Jeff on Twitter for some tips. You always get a comment to try and cheer us up. Yeah, but it's just frustrating. Like Jonathan said, we'll play well next game, and even if we win the next game and play amazing, I'm still going to be frustrated. I still am. Lampard's put that little bit of fear in me now, like doubt. Like he shouldn't have done this tonight.
And the other thing that worries me as well is, he's got a window, and he's only had one transfer window, and you can say that's fine. Okay. If we had 4 players lined up and had them all ready, bang, 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 January the 1st, straight into the team, then you go, okay, sound, that's fine. But what's likely to happen is we're going to have another 3 or 4 games performing like this before we even sign anyone. So like, if God forbid, if we don't beat Bournemouth on Saturday, we might be in the bottom 3. And then if we come back after the new year, we've got Man City to play. Obviously, I know we've got the home game against Wolves, who are also pretty bad, so we might get something out of that. Fair enough. But, you know, like, those signings, like, when you sign players, you want them to have time to bed in, and like, we're going to be in a situation where we can't afford to give them time. We're going to have to like throw them straight in, which is a massive risk. So I'm just
To comment there, Benitez had 2 windows, but yet these fans are.
Sorry. Oh, I apologise. I took that off. Just
No, don't worry. It's just said Benitez had 2 windows, but yet these fans are saying stuff about Lampard or something like that.
Yeah, and it's one of those where I didn't want Benitez in the first place, and he was a dreadful manager, and like I don't care about Lampard. I don't care about Benitez. He should never have been our manager in the first place. So I don't care how many windows he had. I would have just hated him forever, for all time anyway, because he was a cop-out gobshite, and I didn't want him anywhere near our football club. So
I don't think even before we end this now, I was just going to say
reasonable.
I don't know what you
on that subject.
I don't know what you'll think on this, Jeff, but I don't think, like, listen to Lampard in the interviews. I don't think he would, unless we'd had that striker injury. Calvert-Lewin didn't get injured just at the start of the season. I don't think we would have brought in Mopé, because Calvert-Lewin was putting all his eggs. Lampard was putting all his eggs into one basket on Calvert-Lewin, because in the press he kept saying, "Don't forget we've got Calvert-Lewin coming back. Don't forget we've got Calvert-Lewin coming back." Like, you said it with the Blackburn striker that we should have got him, and I don't think Lampard was urgent enough to get him. And now I watched us tonight, and the thing that scares me the most is we haven't got a centre forward. We're knocking the ball up, and we've got a 2-foot striker, and we haven't got a centre forward in the squad. Jeff, have we? Like now, Calvert-Lewin's injured. We ain't got one at all.
That's what really winds my fucking craw up. Is we did have a centre forward. His name's Tom Cannon. He's banging in goals for fun in the under-21s. And you might say, well, yeah, but he's not experienced. So what? So none of the players who played for Bournemouth are experienced either. But he is an in-form number 9 who's banging in goals for fun. Why didn't we start 2 up top and like let Mopé be the experienced guy alongside him? And
he could have won that tonight.
Bring him through the game, you know. But there's a striker who could have scored goals. Like at the start of the season, when you're saying like we didn't have a striker, and it was like, but we did. We had what's the name, and we loaned him out.
Sims
after the injury to DCL. That annoyed me, was that literally the day after DCL's injury, we loaned out the only fit centre forward that we had at the club.
Well, we
went into the first 3 games with no striker. Crazy.
Well, the players that we played against, today, Jeff, for the Bournemouth team, was players. Sims is probably better than them. They're only players like Sims. Like, generally, that's the sort of players that they put out tonight, was like Mills and Sims, or proper reserve players, and we got battered. Ryan was just going to end this. Was you going to come in to say something?
I listened to the whole thing. I had to drop out purely because my phone battery was so low, and there would have been no point me. Basically, it was going to die.
No, that's right, mate. No worries.
I think we're both drained to the max. I think the longer you stay on, the more drained you get.
No, we will end it. Thank you so much, everyone, for commenting. You know, we've had between 80 and 100 people live pretty much throughout the whole stream. I think what that shows is people are searching for answers, really. And Misery does love company, and actually the blue community, and certainly the community with lots of regular names is quite comforting.
That's amazing.
Performance today was poor. You can take it in isolation if you want and say that we did have quite a few new players, or they weren't new. They were the old guard who have always let us down, coming back in. And you can treat this in isolation, but I think I think Jeff and Dan have really looked at the season as a whole and said, well, we've been exposed in a lot of games.
Didn't say they were good, Peter. I just said they were Premier League. I didn't say they were good Premier League. Sorry.
We've seen this season that we've relied on our two outstanding centre backs and our goalkeeper to bail us out in games. Yeah. And I think that's the harsh reality of it. And then going forward, we haven't got anything. And the reality is, we said before the season that we needed a striker who can score goals and a winger who can actually cross a ball. Damari Gray on the left, when he needs 50 touches to then check in, it negates the fact he's got any pace if he's got to cut inside. So, you know, Lampard has been shortchanged. There's no two ways. But at the same time, he's got to get more out of the group he's got, because that's what his job is. He's the manager.
He was probably the man of the match tonight, Damari Gray.
Well, yeah.
He probably was the only player that come on and looked like he was better than them. Like, generally, Damari Gray. That was the only positive. The only positive I can take out of this game was Damari Gray. No other positive whatsoever.
I think if we don't sign a striker in January who's a top, you know, a 12.
He's just come in to end it and he froze. Right, I don't think he's going to come back in. Is he going to come back in to say his magic words? He might be out now. I think he'll try and come back in. People, thanks for staying on. So if it's been a bit arguey, pointy, but generally we just need to get stuff off our chest. And I've read your comments, and everyone else has got. I just kept talking while I was thinking, but I've read your comments, and come on, share your stress, Ryan. It's been nice knowing you. It's been nice knowing you.
We've enjoyed it tonight. Please, if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I do think most of the people who watch this show are regulars, but I know some people do lurk.
We've had some newies today, you know, newies.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. 40 to 50% of people who watch this channel aren't subscribed. I have the statistics, and I'm watching you, and I'm calling you out right now. It's absolutely free. Hit that button and subscribe. We've got a great range of lads on here. And you know what? We're a platform for you to express yourself about Everton. We're all fed up. You can tell we're fed up because we haven't even analysed the goals. You know, we've not even sat through and gone through the goals, because I think we're looking at the overarching thing here, which is completely unacceptable. Jeff wants to say something. Go on.
Well, you're talking about the goals. It was like,
give a quick
which person fell over, like define the goal. Oh, that guy fell over for that guy. That guy fell over causing that goal. Like,
so bad.
You can't even put on a decent pair of bloody studs.
Oh my god! How did he fall? It's a flat ground. How did he even fall? Like, you're telling us to talk about the goal. Seriously, it was so bad.
For the benefit of the video, just Dan, you do the first goal. Jeff, you do the second. Dan, you do third. Jeff, do fourth. Just run us through the goals very quickly, 30 seconds.
Well, mine's just basically, do you know, like, you get a plate and you pass the plate to their player, put it on a plate for them, make a mistake, and then just say, go and kick it in the back of the net. And if you don't, by the way, if you can't kick it in the back of the net, we'll pass it back to you and we'll give you another chance to kick it in the back of the net. Like, that's just joke.
Okay, the second goal. Try to play out of defence when you've absolutely no need to. Fall over, lose the ball, and concede goal. There you go. That's my talk through for the second goal. Sorry?
Who fell over?
Bloody Holgate won it.
The first goal was basically us messing about with the ball, them getting the ball and having a complete hoof shot that just goes randomly.
That was the deflection.
The deflection. It could go anywhere, but of course it goes back. Just a complete dopey, you messing about. Lampard setting us up so we can't pass the ball. That was a bit of a mistakey. Fair enough, deflection. Didn't have to go in, but Everton being Everton, if there's a deflection, it's going in the back of our net. And like Jeff said, the second goal was the slip, wasn't it? That was the slip.
Fall over, give the ball away, concede the goal.
over.
And then the other one of the other goals was Yeah, Holgate fell over. He slipped.
Thought it was, yeah.
Like he waited for the ball to come over to him. He slipped and he could have recovered it, but then he slided and missed it. Then Keane come in to try and save him. Big Keane come in to try and save him.
I saw somebody. I don't know whether it was Yandolf. I did watch the pre-match show or most of it, and I don't know whether it was Yandolf said it.
I said 4-1.
No. Something about like maybe this game being a shop window for some of our players that we want to get rid of.
That was
in
me.
January.
That was me.
Was that you? Was it?
Yeah,
oh
but they're not going to sell now, are they?
This was a shop window, like a car crashing through the window of like a supermarket.
Oh my God.
Where that's the level of
I know. Like generally, I said like we've had talks that teams want to loan Michael Keane. He's just got his passport. Who's going to loan Michael Keane after that? Like generally, like I say.
He wasn't the worst of them, though, was he, Michael Keane? He wasn't.
Yeah, he was. Every time you pass the ball to Michael Keane, he has to pick a wedgie out before he controls it. Then he turns and he's so stiff. Like, you cannot pass out from the back when you've got Michael Keane because he takes 20 hours to do everything. He was, honestly, when you watch him, every time he tried to pass out from the back, he takes so long and it brought on mistakes.
I think Yerry Mina was worse. And I think
Tom
Davis liability. You know, the goals. Talk us through the third goals. It's as far as I can remember, it was an attack that did it break down at the edge of their box when we were crowded out and everyone was in midfield and they just ran up. We couldn't get back and they tapped it in at the back post.
Patterson was involved with one. Patterson was to blame.
Yeah,
I think it was on the last one maybe. He tried to turn and got closed down and chased back and got caught. Even Patterson's starting to get the Everton mistakes in him tonight. That's when you don't want to get these shit involved with our good players or our better players. Good
question.
Begovic as well, by the way. Pickford's got a lot of stick, and everyone said Begovic is miles better than Pickford. I'm not saying Pickford's good, but fact is Begovic should have he palmed one back to him completely, like a complete pass. He should have caught it or palmed it away.
Question: if not Lampard, who? Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, he would be amazing. But the only problem is, Jeff, that scares. This is to Jonathan's point earlier on. If we get a manager like Tuchel, which we probably wouldn't, basically, because he'll only go to the big teams. If we got a manager like him, it's going to be a Carlo Ancelotti, where he'll be with us until a big team. He'll do well with us, and then a big team will come in for him, and he'll be gone. And then we would have let Tuchel get some of his players. And that's how we can end up in that situation. I generally do feel, and we had a chance of getting Eddie Howe, and Jeff, I know you love him as well. We missed the biggest trick ever getting Eddie Howe because he is like basically as a Lampard, someone that would last with us forever because he was an Everton. Do
you know who I'd really quite like, and I think he'd do an amazing job. The guy who's at Brentford.
Yeah, he's class. Yeah. He's on my list as well. He's on my wish list.
What we're saying,
Christmas list.
Are we actually saying we have one of the worst managers tactically in terms of pedigree and actual football? You're listing all these names, and I think, well, he's a better manager than Lampard. He's a better manager than Lampard. It concerns me. And the
problem is they're too young, Ryan. That's the problem. It's like Steven Gerrard getting sacked. They're very young. You need to be in the game for a long time. You can't you need to make your mistakes. You can't afford to make your mistakes with Everton, otherwise they'll get relegated. Like the managers have got to learn the trade, if you know what I mean.
I just want to clarify. We are actually behind Lampard.
100%. I love him. I've just said that all the way through. I love him.
Yeah. We are still allowed to say that managerial. He has not shown the pedigree. He has been poor this season. And the players, apart from the two centre-backs and the goalkeeper, and Iwobi most of the time, but not all the time, I think we've been poor. I mean, the league table doesn't lie. And I think we're lucky to be where we are, really, because there's no particularly weak teams. There's no one adrift,
But-
and I think
No.
it could be us if we don't start scoring goals.
We're all praying for Lampard to prove us wrong and turn the goods around and be the manager that we want him to be, because we've already said we love him as a manager. He gets the club and everything. His managing game needs to step up, and that's what we've been hoping to see. Generally, if that happens, we've got the perfect manager for a very long time, but he isn't stepping that up.
Let's also judge him when he has got the centre forward, maybe that he needs, and we'll
Should've
judge
got him
whether
there.
he's the right one and whether he's being, still given a shit storm. But we haven't played Arsenal away, we haven't played Liverpool away, we haven't played Chelsea away, we haven't gone to Old Trafford yet. I'm worried. These are games we're not going to get anything from, and then the games that the likes of Fulham, Newcastle, Brentford, they're all going to come back and haunt us. Maybe not so much Newcastle because they're playing out the skin. They've got a future ahead of them, and that's what's motivating them. But there's certainly Leicester at home. They were in the bottom 3. It's disgusting. And I think on that bombshell, we probably should just ask everyone who hasn't subscribed to subscribe, like the video, even though we don't like the result. And big thanks to Jonathan for coming on earlier, who was outstanding.
Yeah.
And to Jeff and Dan, as always.
One more game.
Thanks.
One more game, and then everybody seriously go and book a holiday, because you're going to probably need it before the season starts again. One more game.
Just don't book a holiday to Qatar.
I still think we'll win this next game and we'll beat them next time round. But fact is, this season's going to be, unless that window's good, that I don't like to talk about.
We have to win this next game, because, if we can win this next game, and then maybe you think you come back after the break and beat Wolves, suddenly you're looking all right again, and then you go into the window, get a couple of good players in really quickly, not at the end of the window, but straight away. Then okay, maybe. But if we get turned over big time by Bournemouth, I don't see him being a job, because the thing is that our owner, his priority, and we know it's his priority, is to stay in this division. It's not even under the table agenda. It's clearly stated. Our agenda this year is to stay in the league, because we've got a stadium coming and we have to stay in the league for that whole thing to come together. And I don't see our owner, he's going to get twitchy. He's going to get twitchy.
I think seeing Gerrard get sacked and Villa so good now, and Southampton's managers getting sacked, and they'll probably be better as well, it's going to start making our owners think maybe the answer, we know what our owners are bloody like. Maybe the sack will get the bounce, because they ain't going to leave it late. After last season, they were plopping the pants, and they ain't going to leave it late. So Lampard, I don't know why he's so relaxed. He needs to step it up, and he needs to step it up quick. And if he steps it up, I'm happy.
You need some marginal gains, whether that's your manager being better than the others tactically, your players being motivated and playing out the skin, or just having more quality. And I'm not sure we have any of the 3 at the moment. And listen, we're fully behind Lampard. We want him to turn this around and come good. I think his personality and his attitude is good, but obviously he needs to get more out of these players and show us that tactically he is an outstanding coach. And on that,
but Ryan, he has got to. Before we go, he has got to. Generally, you might listen to this. Oh, what have they said about Lampard? These idiots want Lampard up. Fact is, Lampard surely has to expect us to give this reaction. His performance tonight. If you play at shit, you expect people to give you crap because you play crap. His performance tonight, Lampard will know and probably understand that we ain't going to be happy tonight. He'll know all those fans ain't going to be happy tonight, and he just needs to take responsibility for that.
I haven't been on Twitter much yet, but I can only imagine that.
Well, look at the comments all the way through, Jeff. Has been Lampard,
the Twitters
Lampard,
and the Spaces and the phone-ins. I'm sure there'll be a load of people who've been on the talk shite tonight.
We've got this, Jeff. You've got a very good reaction here, because this channel, this is not a particular bias towards anti-board or for the board. This is a very neutral channel, even us lot as a group.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't say we're on particular sides. I think everyone speaks with great.
We're definitely not on the same side half the time, do we?
The same side as in we want Everton to do well. We've got good comments. Listen, I think Mashiri has pulled the plug and he's not investing anything, and that's why we've stopped spending money, because we've got rid of a lot of the the dead wood, the overpaid ponies. We've only got a few left, such as Yerry Mina. Let's block that girl who's trying to sell hot girls of her sister.
On that note, we
want to see some investment in January, don't we? We want the manager. There's only so long we can say, oh, we're cutting down players and we're cutting the wage bill. It's time now to back the manager, or he will lose his job, because ultimately we won't score enough goals. A spade is a spade. A turd is a turd. And quality.
You can't polish a turd. You cannot polish a turd. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that note,
he isn't going to.
You just talked over.
One thing I will say. I know, sorry, but I just got to point this out. Lampard will be going nowhere, because Tim Cahill said he's still massively involved with Everton, and Lampard's got a massive team with Ashley Cole and all that lot. I don't think he'll be going nowhere. So I don't know whether I find that good or bad, but that's generally, I don't think he'll be going nowhere, by the way. We've said Lampard out at times, but he won't be going nowhere.
And we've got to have Premier League football coming in to the new stadium. We've got to invest in January, because we deserve better as fans. We deserve better as fans, don't we, Dan? And on that
yeah,
note,
we do. We do deserve better.
Baited him for the third time. Matthew is.
I'm shutting up.
Forward and a number 10 will sort this out. I really hope you're right, Matthew.
And a winger, please.
We just want to be happy. We just want to be happy.
A winger who can actually cross the ball, please.
We don't want to cross the ball, Jeff. We want to play through the lines.
I honestly think the biggest player. No, honestly, just listen to this. And listen carefully. Listen carefully. I honestly think the biggest player that we need is a Maddison.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is a Maddison. Is a Maddison. That's.
I'll literally sell one of my numbers
for a
player like Maddison.
Maddison or Trossard. Trossard was linked, but we won't get him now because he started playing well for them again. But a Maddison, a Trossard, and Ericsson, who we needed. Ericsson would have been good for us because we need a baller. We've got Iwobi is good, and he come on today and he was good. He showed he's doing well. But fact is, he's not a Maddison. He is not. Maddison is a proper baller.
Do you know, Iwobi needs to go back to playing as a number 6.
He looked good there. He looked good.
That's where he looked good.
That's where it bit ourselves in the arse because we didn't know Iwobi was going to be a good number 6 until we'd already brought number 6s. We probably wouldn't have brought as many. That's the problem.
I agree with you about Iwobi, by the way, but you can't at the moment because we've got too many number 6s. What I would say is I think Dwight McNeil ultimately will end up doing what Iwobi is. He will come in field and be a number 8 because he hasn't got the legs or the pace, the skill to go around, and he's not going to score 10 goals a season. I think nowadays in the Premier League, if you're a winger, you're more of a forward. You know, you're not.
He's not good enough. McNeil isn't.
We're not playing hug your touchline, whip it in. We've got no one to whip it into.
No, he's not good enough.
Calvert-Lewin's out more times than a 16-year-old who's just got a fake ID. You know, it's one of those things where you're a forward, you're a Richarlison. You know, we need a Richarlison. We've got to replace Richarlison. We've got to sign someone who can play left wing.
Kudos.
Yeah, Kudos, Modric.
Please, Modric. Yeah, please. Oh God, I'd kill for a player like Modric. Oh my God.
Praise of Jesus, Allah, Hashem, Thor, whoever you believe in.
Is there someone called Thor?
The Norse. The Norse.
Do you know what?
Let's sign him, Thor.
All jokes aside, I think that Mbappe would be a good signing because he can play on the wing. and as a striker, Mbappe would be good.
Where would we finish if we had Haaland? I see. I think he'd be starved of service. He'd be dropping into midfield.
Nah, we ain't even got to him yet. Like, generally, we ain't got to him. We need to get a number 10 first. The same position, probably.
If we'd have got Haaland as a kid, he would now be playing League Two football after spending 6 years in our under-21s, and then being loaned out 3 times to like AFC Bournemouth or something, and now he'd probably be playing at Tranmere or like some like.
We would have put the Everton. We would have put the Everton in him. It probably.
Yeah, we would have.
It'd probably be worse than Rondon. It'd probably be worse than Rondon. The Everton curse is strong. The Everton curse is definitely strong.
So, on this final note, I'm going to go and hang myself now.
Please don't.
This has been a great show.
We've gone from buying players that we've got quality on paper who've done stuff and being disappointed when they don't play well and don't perform and don't live up to their wages and fees, to just cutting the middleman and saying, well, we'll take your cheapest, your worst, cheapest players. We'll have them. You want rid, we'll take them. We'll have them, mate. And we'll give them a go. Dwight McNeil, no goals, no assists. You got relegated. We'll have you.
Do you know the Dwight McNeil one? The Dwight McNeil said at one of the shows, he said that he messaged Tarky and says, please get me in that Everton. Put a good word in for me. Put a good word in. Get them to sign me. That's what he did.
I'm now texting his mates at the club saying...
He generally said that. He said to Tarky, put a good word in, please get the job done. And he said the reason I got signed was because Tarky put a good word in for me. You let frigging Tarkowski pick up bloody players. That's not good. That's not good. I'm not... Oh. Dwight McNeil is not Richarlison, let's just say that.
But he could be a decent squad player.
Dunsworth at left back, yeah.
Could be you can't. The thing is, I get what you're saying, Ryan. He could be a decent squad player, but we can't think about the stuff outside of the problem. We need to fix the problem first.
As Jeff says, these are bench players, squad players. You'll come in and out, and support an overall structure of a team that is actually, got a Richarlison replacement. You've got a Calvert-Lewin replacement.
Gray's better than McNeil. Gray's better than him.
Unfortunately, we need a Calvert-Lewin replacement and a Richarlison replacement. It isn't just a Richarlison. We actually need to replace Calvert-Lewin. He is now.
But the good thing about the Richarlison thing was, if you get a Richarlison player like a Dennis, Dennis who went for us. I'm not saying him, but I'm just saying if you get a winger that can play striker, you forget losing Richarlison. We lost a striker and a winger because Richarlison played left wing and he played striker when Calvert-Lewin was out. So we kind of lost 2 players in Richarlison.
Okay, now, Mr. L9 Scouser, on that note, this is it now. We've reached a new low. Get Tim Sherwood in. Thank you very much. Good night.
I actually think we're actually, from my sources, which are always accurate, we've been linked with a move for Alan Kirbishley on loan till the end of the season. And when I mean on loan, he's now playing football for a League 9 team. He'd come in for us, and I think actually we've got more chance of an under-13s coach, Dan, formerly of Follow Everton, coaching us. Dan, you've coached before, haven't you?
I actually said to my missus earlier on, I said she was talking about Everton. She watches them and she's talking about them, and I'd love to coach this team. I know the stress. But I could do so much better than Lampard, and I don't give a shit what you say in the comments. I know you can come at me. I don't care. No, I don't care. I could do better than Lampard.
Yeah, you quote it and stick that on Twitter. Copy that and stick that on Twitter. I'd love to coach.
I could do better. I would love to coach him. I would. Honestly, I'd get better of him. I'd give him a kick up the arse as well, I tell you, because tonight was disgusting. They wouldn't want to see my face in the morning if I was coaching them, mate, because they get it.
Can I be the assistant?
Yeah, Jeff, you can come as well, because they need to. Lampard's too easy on these. I tell you, they need a bollocking, because fact is, like I'll say it, and I've said it throughout the channel, Bournemouth's a long way.
Nice.
All those people have travelled to Bournemouth and they were singing to get behind Everton when Everton players didn't even deserve it because they started shit, but the fans got behind them still. Our fans are the best fans around. And honestly, they don't deserve our fans, these players that put on the shirt. And they don't respect the shirt either.
I literally didn't hear the Bournemouth fans.
No, I could hear the Everton fans all the way through.
until the 35th or 36th
Yeah.
minute. They sang once, and that was it. They didn't even do a big song after they scored the goal. They cheered and then went quiet again.
Exactly. No
and
atmosphere.
our fans were singing the whole time, and it's just like
Yeah.
you're letting
And
them
they've gone
down,
home
people.
on a 4-1. Our fans have gone home on a
They're letting
4-1
them
loss
down.
against. It's just it's disgusting. Honestly, our players don't. It's all about money.
Dan's
It's all-
chuckling away at the pair of us.
Yeah. It's all about bloody money. Honestly, they don't care about that shirt. We dream to frigging play for Everton.
To be honest, now that to me is a great shout, and I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about him. I thought I looked like him with my frigging hairstyle.
I think he would be a brilliant manager for Everton because he does not put up with any shite. He's just a no-nonsense proper manager, and people say, "Oh, he plays dour football." No, he played dour football because he was at Blackburn, but he's capable of playing better football. Like at times when they got into Europe with him as a manager and played good football.
We've already got two of his players, Jeff. Tarkowski and McNeil. Can he make McNeil good?
Can he turn fucking Keane good as well? God, Jesus.
Yeah, he had Keane. Oh my God, I give up. Everton, just go away. Everton, go away. Why do they ever support you?
Go on, wrap up the show, mate. We'll shut up now, we promise.
I was just tempted to see whether anyone had the bollocks to come on and click the link and join.
Well, do you know what, Lou? Ryan, there's still 66 people on now. That's the reason we kept the stream going so long, because we just tried to calm you down with us. But there you go.
We'll give it 2 more minutes. Let's see if someone joins on.
Are you
going to try it for the phone in, are you?
Just, if anyone wants to speak to us about this game, before we wrap it up, we will give you a window 2 minutes from now.
Please, God. I just joined. Don't leave me now. I just joined. Don't leave me now. That's like begging, isn't it? Don't leave me. I'm depressed. Everything is shit. Please, cheer me up.
It speaks volume that you've still got, 65 plus an hour and 40 minutes into a stream. Have people not got things better to do, or are we all just depressed and everyone?
No, I think it's because we're a fantastic channel. Personally, I think we're good.
And I think it's also because realistically, like when the football's shit, you need this vent. You need this vent. You need like all this kickoff and whatever. It gets it out of your system, done it, because tomorrow we're all gonna have to go to work or whatever, and like.
Yo, Jeff. Like this is what this is. Do you know what you just said? We just need to get it off. Jeff, there you go. Then.
Just stop Ryan.
Ryan just quickly took that off. Ryan's on it quick. Ryan's seen the word PORN and then knocked it off. So someone put just on Pornhub, and Ryan quickly put the Everton stream instead. Don't click on Pornhub. Click on follow Everton and subscribe right now, please.
We do need cheering up, Kev. We do need cheering up.
Basically, I hope it ain't a relegation battle again this season, because I can't be arsed. It's not fun.
It is going to
boring.
be. It is going to
be. It best not be because it best not be because it's not even fun. Like, generally, I can't be arsed with that. That was just a one-off thing. I don't want that to become a familiar thing, because I can't be arsed with a relegation battle this season. I really can't.
We won't get battered in the games like this. But I think we're going to find it difficult to win games purely because we're not scoring enough goals. 0.8 goals per game dictates that we're probably not going to be anywhere other than sort of 14th to 18th, I think.
I think signing Cody has saved our ass, because if we put any of our players, defenders, with Tarkowski, as we show in pre-season, would be shit. But luckily, we signed Cody. We signed Cody to go with Tarkowski. And luckily, we've got 2 centre-backs that I feel could save our arse. Like, generally, it's not on Lampard. It's on those 2 centre-backs. They're leaders, and they're what everything's on them too this season. Tarkowski and Cody, they're what are going to get us through this season for me.
That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. A great discussion after each defeat stops me visiting PH. I don't know what PH is at this hour. I don't know what PH is.
Pornhub.
Public.
No,
Oh yeah,
Pornhub.
Pornhub. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Is it Pornhub? Is it Pornhub?
Probably is Pornhub. Yeah.
You was thinking it was some technical thing, PhD.
Yeah, he did mean.
I said
Pornhub.
that as a joke, but now I said that as a joke, but then Jeff. Oh, Jeff, you thought that was like some sort of rehab thing where we've massively helped him out.
I was
But all we've done is kept him.
Public house, but it's like no, he means porno.
No.
Oh shit, yeah.
Jeff's thinking was some sort of yoga.
Which I asked you a week ago, would you take 17th right now? And neither of you said yes. You both absolutely.
I still wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't either.
No, I generally. Do you know
okay.
what though? Let me just say this one thing though, quick. And Jeff coming after this. I still stand by this. We've got some good players. I think Lampard's tactics ain't right. I think Onana is good. I think Iwobi come on today and he's shown that he is good enough. Iwobi was good when he come on. He looked different, honestly. And I think Gray come on and he looked like I know he's hot and cold, but he looked like he still had something. I still feel that our best team can stay up. I don't feel like I honestly feel, Ryan, if you got a different manager on these players, it'd be better. I don't care what you say. I really do think that these players can be better. You've brought in Garner Gay, who we know can be better. Lampard's obviously using him wrong. We've brought in. I'd like to see Garner Gay higher, I would, and play Iwobi the bloody number 6. I'm not even joking because Iwobi's good in that number 6 position. And I think Garner Gay, when you watched him turn the ball over last game, when we nearly scored, he's better higher. He played higher for PSG. What's he say? No, I think different manager would be all right, but we're not going to change the manager, so we'll see what happens.
Well, all right. I think we're lacking a structure and a style of play. I think it all does stem from not having all the tools that you need. You know, in the box. I think you've got your masking tape and your hammer, but you haven't got your tape measure. And I think that's what happens. You can't complete the job without it. I think the board have to be accountable, the financial people, for not bringing in that top striker, for thinking that Neil Maupay, he's a player who'll go missing and he won't score in 10 and then he'll score a couple of goals in a couple of matches and then you won't see him for ages. And I think that's what he statistically is. And McNeil, who doesn't score goals and doesn't assist, he's got high potential, but I don't really see him as a forward to replace Richarlison. So
Neil Maupay is probably thinking these, because you got to remember Maupay played for Brighton, who could pass the ball amazingly, and Maupay could just make runs. That's all he had to do, and he just makes his runs and he'll get the ball. He's come to Everton and he's probably looking behind him thinking, oh my God, what is happening behind me? Like the service, I know Maupay, like it's generally, he needs to be in a possession team to be okay. We're lofting balls to Neil Maupay and expecting him to hold them up against the 6'3" frigging centre back. I don't know why we signed him. Why did we sign him? I don't know.
For moves is when we ping it out to one of the wingers to have a 1v1 header against the fullback and then try and win a second ball off it. That's got to be one of the most ridiculous tactics we do. And on that bombshell,
there's a lot of them. Right, we'll shoot it anyway. Nice. Thank you everyone for coming on. It's been fantastic having you on my Follow Everton channel. We'll see you later. Love you all. Cheer up, and hopefully we smash them on Saturday before the World Cup. Up the fucking TOFFEES. And I'm going to end the stream now just to be a badass. Here we go. You ready? Everybody, goodbye. Have a good night. Don't get too stressed. Don't get too depressed. And just, we'll get through this together because we're Evertonians.